Well, hello everyone. I want to finish off my lectures over this material on employee performance appraisal forms by talking about how sometimes mistakes can be made and cover some material on errors in doing a rating performance. So both of these are just titles. I explain a little bit about how they happen and maybe if possible what we can do to fix them and make them better. When it comes to doing a performance evaluation on an employee, sometimes one of the things that will happen is that people will apply, supervisors or who's ever doing the evaluation will apply what's called a halo effect. A halo effect basically occurs where we turn around and all we really do is we rate everyone very high. We give everyone positive marks. Everyone is given scores on a scale of 1 to 5 of either 4s or 5s and so on. Well, it seems like a nice thing to do, but if you're trying to use your performance tool as a way of gauging who's going to get promoted, who's going to get let go, and everyone gets high marks, then it tends to fail in that regard. One way to get around a halo effect is to require a supervisor to also rank their employees from start to finish, from top to bottom. And that is one way of trying to fix this situation where everyone gets a positive score when in fact they shouldn't get that. Recency effects are another type of error that occur when employees are evaluated really on their most recent behavior. Uh, you work for an entire year. You're to be evaluated on a year's worth of job performance, and really they turn around. The supervisor evaluates you on just what you've done in the last month, or the last 2 weeks, or the last 6 weeks. I have definitely seen employees who apply this recency effect, where they actually clean up their behavior in the couple of weeks prior to getting evaluated, in the hopes that that's all that the person will remember, the supervisor or the panel supervisors or whomever. One of the best ways to get around a recency effect is documenting things, maintaining files, reporting and recording throughout the year the good things that employees do and the not so good things, so that when it comes time to evaluate them, you pull out the file, you look at all the good and the not so good, and you use what's happened in the past year to make your determination. Central tendency, also known as sort of an average effect, basically is, I wouldn't say the opposite of halo effect. Whereas with a halo effect, everyone gets top-notch scores. With an average effect or central tendency, we tend to rate everyone towards the middle. Everyone is average, okay? When you do this, you don't have to necessarily justify your scores. They're average. If someone rates everyone high, then you might have to do more work and effort to turn around and explain why. If you rate everyone low, you might have to explain why, but if everyone's average, it makes your job a lot easier. So sometimes on a scale of 1 to 5, everyone gets a 3. Everyone's average. Once again, this causes problems if you're trying to figure out who gets promoted, who gets laid off, who gets transferred, and so on. It interferes with what we call succession planning. So what you do a lot of times in this regard is that you turn around and rank, just like you did with the halo effect. You tend to rank people and require that, so you know who's your best, who's in the middle, and who's possibly at the bottom. There are also what we call constancy effects, and there are different types of constancy effects. Constancy effects mean that we apply an approach to everyone across the board. All right. Um, and they can be a problem. They sound similar to a central tendency or to a halo effect, where we do it for everyone. But when it comes to a given category in an evaluation, maybe we turn around and we tend to go in a certain direction. For example, a leniency error. Maybe we turn around and we evaluate people differently, but when it comes to the category of working a certain piece of equipment, we are very lenient on everyone in that category. Or more specifically, maybe people will get different evaluations, but when it comes to a particular category within the evaluation form, something that matters to you an awful lot, maybe you're more harsh on that particular category. And so this is what happens with a constancy effect. When you get to certain duties and responsibilities, you tend to be exceptionally hard or exceptionally lenient in that particular category. As far as this next one, inadequate information effect, this is simply a case of trying to do a person's evaluation, a performance evaluation, when you really don't have much documented information. You don't have much to go on. It may be the case that you just got hired as a supervisor in the last 6 weeks, and now you have to evaluate people. Sometimes this can be a problem because you have inadequate information to evaluate last year's worth of work. The prior supervisor didn't keep any such documents, and now you find yourself sort of stuck. There really is no easy answer for this. You just have to turn around and make sure you maintain documentation and go from there in that regard. The last one is what we call a similar to me effect. And we see this thing happening when people turn around and get high marks because basically they are similar to the supervisor who's doing the evaluation. They may not be good at their job. They may not do a good job as far as the tasks and duties. But hey, they like the same thing I like. They like the same sports I like. They like the same hobbies I like. And because of that, I give them good marks. It could happen that this goes even the other direction, where someone is not similar to me. They're so different that I end up giving them lower marks. But what we see more often is the former, where people, you like the same shows I like, you're doing the same things I do in our off time. So even though you're a poor employee, I'm going to give you high marks because I like you in the end. Now, these are all examples of different problems and issues. A lot of these can be resolved with either ranking or maintaining more documentation or being aware of what you're doing. The similar to me effect, being aware that you're rating people on things not relevant to the job can come into play. But here are some of the most common types of approaches, 6 categories, and the ways that we deal with them. Hope that helps.